the quarterback of that game in 2008 for Alabama. John Parker Wilson joins us now as our Alabama Legend of the Week. And JP, it is great to see you, and it's great for the Crimson Tide to be taking the football team back to Athens. You excited for everything coming up on Saturday?
I am excited. I think it's going to be a good game. I think we got two good teams who are going to face off in Athens. I know we haven't been over there much. I actually went to the 2015 game. I think it was the hardest I've ever seen it rain ever in one single day, but we got through it. So hopefully we can do it again this time.
Certainly look forward to it. And of course, we're talking about that great trip in 2008 when Alabama was undefeated going into that game against Georgia, a Georgia team that had a lot of hype around it as well. A very talented team, and Matthew Stafford as the quarterback on the other side. Just if you could, take us back to the week of preparation for that first trip to Athens back in '08.
Well, now that you talk about the week of preparation, I think Scott Cochran got kind of famous as he already was famous, but he had a famous quote talking about Georgia wearing the black jerseys. Y'all can find that on the internet somewhere. I'm sure. I don't know. They're not going to wear the black jerseys again this week, are they?
Unless there's a surprise up their sleeve. But again, I don't think Kirby would do that. We'll see.
It it could happen, but that was it was a time. So that was Coach Saban's second year. We were coming off six season the year before, so we were still trying to like figure out who we were. Um, we had some good games. I think we opened up against Clemson that year, and then this was still kind of early in the season. We didn't know how good of a football team we were or we're going to be that year, and then what Coach Saban was going to do for the rest of the time. But it was a time for us to come together and put it out on the field. It was fun to go out there and still an unknown, unproven team to put it out and do what we did and really kind of set the tone for the rest of the season.
Well, you always want to start strong in a ball game like this, but Alabama jumps out to a 10-0 lead in the first quarter, eventually builds up to lead to 31-0 in the first half once you got to the locker room at halftime. So, just from the offensive perspective, what was it about the scripting going into that game that allowed Alabama to get off such a good start?
Well, I think it was the season before, and then all the preparation off season. It was just kind of coming together, and it was one of those games where I don't think it was just me, but everybody on the offensive side and really the defensive side too was just in the zone. Like everything was clicking, everything was going like you want it to, like games typically don't do. But this was a game where we just hopped out on them and never looked back. I mean, the defense was in it. Offense put up 31 points. Thanks Julio Jones for that picture that's behind you on getting open, and it was just Roy Upchurch. It was Julio. It was Nick Walker was catching the balls. Everybody was involved, and it's a thing that doesn't happen very often when you're in the zone like that. But it was just one of those days, and we were able to close it out there at the end. They get a little close at the end, but able to close them out and put them away.
Yeah, it really was good to see. It was a really efficient game for you, passing, I believe, 13 of 16. And then just the running game you had to lean on. How much was the good balance responsible for how well Alabama played in that game?
Well, especially back then, this was, we were wanted to be a balanced team. Like we wanted to run it 50% of the time and throw it 50% of the time. And that was just our philosophy. Now it's much more of an air attack and passing. But the way our team was built with the defense that we had a great defense. It's like let's be really good at throwing and passing. We're not going to try to major one and then let our defense play really good. And that was a big part of our success that year. Glenn Goffey running back, Mark Ingram was a freshman, so we had a lot of good guys at a lot of different positions. We were just in this game, we were still pretty unproven at that point.
Yeah, pretty improving at that point. I believe it was the second SEC win that year. You mentioned the great start to the year against Clemson certainly got people's attention, and then you get this win. Just what kind of confidence were you guys playing with after this week in Athens?
So now, okay, we're starting to put it together, and it's like we're looking around the locker room and saying, "Hey, we might be able to do something special this year." And kind of we're believing in ourselves. Where before, and even up to this point, is our heads are down. I don't even know what we were ranked at the time. It probably wasn't that high, but it's like let's put our heads down, go to work, and see what happens. And that was kind of Coach Saban's philosophy that year. Is like let's work really hard, and the scoreboard will take care of itself. And this game, kind of proved his point. Whereas if we just do the right thing, work hard, get ready for the week. Let's see what happens on Saturday. And it started to come together. It was fun. And, that was one of those games like at halftime, we're up 31 to nothing, I think it was. And there's not a lot of coaching going on. It's like the players like pulling everybody to the side saying, hey, let's do this. We're doing it the right way. Let's keep the gas on the pedal, and get out here for a win. And that's what we did. And we just kind of kept doing that all season long.
Certainly did. That was your senior year. Is that one of the games that people bring up to you the most when they talk about kind of your best moments at Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, got the Daniel Moore out of it, so it's definitely one of the top. To me, it was that one. We went to LSU, won in overtime down on the road, and then had to beat Auburn our last game that season where we hadn't beat them. They were Auburn was on a pretty good streak, so we had to knock them off after they rattled off a few wins. So yeah, that is definitely one of the highlights. I mean, it's kind of cool to have a Daniel Moore painting like that. And shout out to Julio, obviously, so for getting that done.
Absolutely. Again, a great moment for the Crimson Tide in 2008. You mentioned the trip in 2015, very rainy. Now here we are, 2025. Alabama's going back again. I'm curious to get your thoughts on the quarterback for the Crimson Tide, Ty Simpson. How have you seen him progress through the first three games this year?
I think he's progressed a lot. Like first game, first road start, Florida State. Obviously, we didn't play our best game, but the way he's bounced back and recovered, and really, I mean, he's played about as efficient as you could possibly play in quarterback. Didn't miss the ball against Louisiana Monroe. I thought he looked great against Wisconsin, just with his timing, his anticipation, knowing where his guys are going to be. I think he goes in this game with a ton of confidence, and I think he's earned it because figured out against Florida State. All right, now let's get into the season. I think he's done great. I think he's going to have a big game this week again, just because now they're opening up the offense to him. They're letting him cut it loose. I think we see the run game pick up a little bit, and I think we got a pretty complete team.
We're looking forward to Saturday. It's been a couple years since you've been with us in the booth on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Just how's everything going? You and the family. Obviously, you're still staying as connected as you can to Crimson Tide football, but we miss you, JP.
I miss you too, guys. I miss being there on Saturdays and going on the road and staying in the hotel. Family's doing great. We got my oldest is playing tackle football now, so we're getting after it. He's pulling guard right now, working hard on the offensive line, and it's a blast. But I do miss you guys. Listen to y'all every weekend on the radio. So y'all the best. Keep it up.
Well, you're the best as well. John Parker Wilson, just thank you for the time given us. We look forward to chatting again down the road. Roll Tide.
All right, Roger. Roll Tide, bud.